I'm glad to say hello to Mr. Pjer Zalica.
Hi.
And he's the director, of course, of Focus Grandma. And I will start from the question of the metaphor of the family and the fall of former Yugoslavia, which is the obvious thing. But I just discovered, a couple of years ago, that the young generation is not aware, actually, about the situation when you have a family with many different, let's say, people from different places, because it was just the common thing.
Yeah, it was a common thing. Yeah, we were one country, and despite the accumulated fairy tale that the division was existing even before, it was not the truth in practice. In fact, we were living really as one state and all people together, you know. But suddenly, when country divided, it was just imposed that we were living on force together, that we did not have real contacts. You know, it was political thing, you know. But in fact, it was not true. You know, we were living like any normal country, communicating, marrying each other, and even today it's happening, but much less than before, because you know the idea is different. You know, now the idea is divide to conquer. And then the idea was brotherhood and unity. So it's a little bit different, yeah. So
of course, but the most common situation when I go to any city or a village in former Yugoslavia is somebody from Croatia to say that his uncle is from Montenegro, or his
yeah, sure. It was
Serbia.
common thing. But even today, you have ancestors from all of these places. You know, I mean, whole Balkans, and at the end, generally, we are just people who are mingling and melting with each other and like each other and want to share life with other people. You know, so my life, if I'm living alone, like solitude, like a wolf, it would be boring or wild. So, and if I have to choose, okay, I want to share, but I will pick just some people. I mean, it's loony, it's crazy. I cannot accept that kind of idea. In fact, I think that nationality is more or less a question of, you know, it's something which you not choose. You know, it just happened. You know, so I'm not giving much to those things. You know, I appreciate, but I don't care if you are this and that. Anybody, including me.
I had an experience right after 2016. I was talking to a Turkish writer who was critical to the regime, but in a sophisticated way. And we were talking about a particular subject. He said it was his opinion, but there were also some people from the embassy, and he had to be politically correct. And he said that usually it's better to evaluate what happened, let's say, 20, 30 years after, because you have more objective view on the situation. We have seen many films on the wars of former Yugoslavia and so on. But what's the main difference when you go back to the beginning of the 90s from today's point of view?
What's the difference?
Yeah.
I mean, I passed through that. I lived through that period, you know, and I experienced whole war. I stayed in Sarajevo during the whole war, and at that time I was telling the stories about the fire being in the middle of volcano. So it's not a regular position, you know. But I had an idea that the whole war is a huge mistake, that it's a horrible I mean, it was just, it was a mistake. It shouldn't happen, you know. So I had this horrible feeling that it was not necessary, but it was just, it was stupid, you know, and horrible at the same time. And I did not change my mind through these 35 years. So I'm watching it with even though I was making films and telling film stories during the war, and today I have same perspective. So I did not change perspective. Even though I did not change perspective about our politicians, I knew that they are lying to us. I was just, you know, but I could not believe that things will develop in this direction. They are. But they did. I mean, it happened. So I just proved my feeling that the politicians are scum, and I have the same feeling, same idea today. And today I believe in our people the same I believed in those times. So I did not change a lot of perspective. So even though it would be normal, you know, I mean, it would be you could expect something like that. So after 25, 30, 20 years that I would change my mind, but I did not, you know. Maybe I would flee this time. I would be the refugee number one if any war started anywhere. So I think that one war for one life is more than enough. So from this point of view, probably I would refuge.
Hope that it wouldn't happen, but I mean, couple of years ago, you signed this declaration on common language, which is something natural, but there were also people, let's say, opposing to this. I mean, circles of politicians and so on.
But as long as they understand me talking my language, I'm happy, you know. So they understand me. Those people who are opposing the idea of common language, they still fully understand everybody from this region when we spoke our language. So I'm not against these names. Okay, you could call it Croatian, you could call it Serbian, you could call it Bosnian. For me, what is important that we understand each other 100%. You could not know some word, you know, somebody from Dalmatia using some specific, you know, words we are not using in Bosnia, or some people in northern Serbia would use some other. We have a lot of like Turkish words here in Bosnia or Austrian as a heritage. So, you know, but
this is the richness of the language, actually.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same linguistically. It's absolutely the same language. There's no question. But of course, everybody has right. I mean, now we are the independent states, so why don't we call it Bosnian, Croatian, Serbian? It's fine. It's nice as long as we can understand each other. But when somebody try to impose the idea that we don't understand each other, then it becomes funny. You know, subtitling Serbian movies in Croatia, it's funny, or reverse. You know, yeah. I mean, okay, for me, it's okay to say, okay, it's not the same language, but we could understand each other. You could call it whatever you want. So I don't want to make political issue of it. And
okay.
It's not. I'm talking about it as the linguistical and cultural issue, and I think that this other thing. Politicians have problem with this cultural issue because they don't like to have anything in common. Still, I hope that it will change. So if we say linguistically is the same language, there's no way. From the science point of view, that's the same language. From political point of view, it's not the same language, and I'm okay with it. It has an other name. It has some specifics. Okay, it's fine, but the problem is because if we understand each other 100%, if we share language, then we share culture, and politicians don't like it. They just don't like that we are so close and connected to each other. I mean Bulgarian. I think I could understand Bulgarian if you talk slowly with no problems, and yeah, I think that you could understand any of these languages if we are talking slowly, if we are not, you know, rushing. You know. So because these are all same, I mean, we are coming from same origin.
Yeah. Something else. If we return to the film, I saw a kind of potential in this film in a couple of years or in a decade to become, for example, a theater play. or even a radio drama. It has this potential, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's honestly speaking, it becomes because of the budget, you know, because the budget was really like small. So we should think about the setting. So we put it on a one place. And when you put it in a one place, and then when it's based on the characters, of course, that it could be nice theater play. But and I thought about it. I had some offers to make a theater play now, but my problem is cast, you know, because I'm really in love with this cast. So I'd like to make this theater play with the same cast. So maybe it would not have. It's not very healthy for
And
anybody.
it's too early. It's too early. The film is still on. I mean, in a couple of years.
Yeah. Okay, sure. And it's already written. I mean, if you want, you can direct.
Right. And I found something else, because the film is from 2020. Yeah, you finished the script much more earlier, I suppose. But there is a certain connection at the end of the film that I made to the life nowadays. For example, when Kika was calling to the hospital, somebody answered, leave the grandma, we have a war here. We experienced so many situations like this during the COVID. Leave the grandma, there is COVID right now running on.
Yes, unfortunately, yeah. I mean, you know, in every critical situation, you know, everybody is focused only on the priorities, and priorities becomes different than in a normal times, let's say, you know. So it was the crisis when war started, and it's crisis now with COVID, and unfortunately there is a lot of similarities. We find out with the first lockdown, everybody who experienced siege in Sarajevo during the war find some strange and unpleasant similarities with this situation. But on the other hand, we had that with that experience, we knew, okay, this is better than war still, you know. And in a way, we were kind of serious. We seriously accept that new situation. And this first wave of COVID in Sarajevo and Bosnia was really mild. I mean, we were really disciplined. But nowadays, because it's our Balkan temperament, and with these politicians we are dying a lot because of COVID. I mean, it's horrible situation. And yeah, there are similar. In fact, we started editing when we were finishing editing when COVID started. And I remember during the shooting that somebody was reading the news and says, look, these crazy Chinese people, they put whole city in quarantine. And we were reading it as a strange, bizarre news while we were shooting. And when we were editing, we were already in the middle of that situation. So it was really strong warning, you know. And all of this COVID situation, I hope that this is a strong wake-up call for everybody of us to remember that we are one nation and just human beings, you know. But this situation with vaccines are reminding us that we are cruel human beings who are just taking care about ourselves, not about, you know, that feeling of humankind as brothers and sisters is really good. But unfortunately, every time we are discovering again and again that it's not true, you know, that unfortunately we are not on that level still as a humanity to accept everybody as a brother and sister, you know. I know I'm hippie generation, so this brotherhood and unity and Woodstock, these are my dreams, you know. So I would die with that kind of you know, with this dream, listening Jim Morrison again and again. So, you know, I feel good with it.
I'm not hippie, but I believe in this.
Yeah, me too. That's why I would die with it. But unfortunately, every time I realize that we are still not on that level, and that, you know.
When we take the age of Yugoslavian country, of Yugoslavian state, and the age of a human, I mean, when you are young, you meet a young girl from another city or another country, you fall in love and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And it's very important that your characters are middle-aged. When they're bored between, they became more greedy and so on. So this metaphor really works in the film.
Yeah. I mean, you never you're not filming metaphors. You never, I mean, nobody maybe at some point of in a history of cinematography that was the trend. But usually it's not something you want to do. But it's the idea why you're making a movie are strongly arraying your work. I mean, that's why you could find in this story in particular. I mean, you could find this parallel. But this is we made a family as the people who are doing it. So we were really a family while we were filming this movie, and with these strong connections, we said, okay, whatever would be metaphorical possible second meaning, that's fine with us, but just let's stay the real family with real relations as we are working on it. So, and I think that we especially because of really good cast succeed in that. So
yeah,
yes,
you have legends in this film.
Yes, they are. Yes, that's true. And that's why, of course, it was intentional that they are in mid ages, and there is only in fact one like younger character, like this new time, and it's a big change in her from this time of atheism, like these times of let's say, or not taking much care about religion. Suddenly between them is none, so it's a huge change. So change in this young generation were not like mild or small. It was really like strong and big change. Suddenly we had new people in front of us, and that was a big surprise. If we are talking about that metaphor, that would be the reason of the cast and the age of the characters. And the grandma is much older than Yugoslavia were, if we are making parallel, and much more mean than Yugoslavia. But the idea was a little bit different. So it's not all metaphor as I started at the beginning, but you cannot read of it, and it's, I mean, as you said, it's obvious, and unfortunately it was really like that, that this is not fictional story. Unfortunately, this story happened between a lot of families, not just on Balkans.
Did you have any experience with Western audience to ask questions? Why is like this? What is this?
Oh, well, the experience I have is really good, because these things are simple. In fact, it's not too complicated, and family is something we all have experienced in different kind of experience, but something is in common. It's important to us. So if you have good experience, that's good, and that's really good. If it's bad experience, then it's really bad, because family issue is a real issue in somebody's life. Even though if you are growing up without family in an orphanage, then it becomes a dream. If you are living in ideal family, then you have problem when you have to leave this family. We can or ideal from somebody's perspective, like this royal family now in England, we see that they have a lot of problems, in fact. And if you have it in dysfunctional family, then it's horror. So family issue is a big issue for people. So it's really easy to understand. But this political, let's say, background, it's not complicated. In fact, there is, something is rolling on behind the hill, and we don't want to accept it. And it's so common to people. You don't want to accept. These people in states, when this horror in Senate started, they just couldn't believe. It just happened. Some hordes are flooding this Capitol Hill. It's crazy, but it's just happened. So we have it anywhere. So we have it in our DNA. This kind of alarm. When something bad is coming, and you don't want to see it. So reception was really good, you know, and there were no big problems about it. And, you know, some people were not, of course, made like, they would not say, aha, it's former Yugoslavia and that issue maybe don't know, maybe they don't know. Like people in Slovenia, they don't know a lot about, they don't speak language no more. And, you know, the younger generations, they don't remember Yugoslavia at all, and they don't have this feeling. But film was really well received, and, you know, started an interest. There is one common, like two common visions, even between these younger generations about Yugoslavia. It's dreamland, good old times, or it's the prison of the nations, you know. And this first group is much bigger. They are not dreaming about Yugoslavia again, but they know about these times then it was better life, that life was better during those times. Even though it was really, you know, some things were really bad, you know, like you have one party and it was a single-minded political system, which is not nice. I mean, yeah, but still better than it was in Bulgaria. So if you don't,
of course.
Yeah, but we know that, you know, and we somehow we figured out to live nice. So yeah, the reception was good, and there were no problems with it, because I think that who loves the movie, he loves those characters, and he follows the story, which is really simple, modest story based on actors. That was what we were doing. And when I says issue of budget, it was not in a bad sense, you know, but it was just, you know, limitation. Okay, we don't have enough like resources to have 55 locations. So we were forced to think like this, and of course we love it.
And the story doesn't need it. I mean, 55.
Yeah, finally, no. I'm happy if you find it like it, but that was the idea. Finally, I hope so that don't need it. But at the beginning, you know, you always, as a filmmaker, you want to have, you know, airplanes and explosions, and you know, you just have a need for to express your craziness, you know. So when somebody told you, okay, but just limit it in one house, then, you know, at the beginning it could be kind of limitation. But yeah, and on the other hand, I like this kind of small commercial stories. I like. I feel good because as a filmmaker, I like the most this surgery of human soul, you know, like this Gentile working with the characters there, like their relations, and that's what I like.
And also, it really fits to this pandemic situation. I mean, you're at home, yeah, and you enter as another house.
It does, and film has a lot of, you know, it was a really shocking experience with these movies that almost whole distribution and every festival and everywhere where you go, it's online. So, but people are watching the film a lot, but, you know, I don't have real experience watching the movie with the audience. And when I heard about Sofia, I thought, oh, okay, maybe we would have vaccines and maybe I could come and see the movie with the audience. But finally, no, you know, because it's still not ended. But it's also a unique experience with this movie. I hope so that it's the last one that I'm experiencing, presenting the movie this way. But it's unique and it's new, and I'm sure that some of this, some positive things of this experience would stay. We find out, everybody of us, I think so, that this online distribution has its advantages. Also, I think that it's not good if it's the only way, but I'm sure that even in the future, if we get rid of this COVID disease and pandemic situation, when it would be over, that some of online platforms would still have its place even in normal festivals and normal distribution, because it has its advantages, really. But I miss to see people in Sofia. I mean, it's really a huge miss, you know, and I'm really sorry that I'm not there.
And there is one advantage, actually. For example, this interview, it's recorded, even though on a very low resolution, but we'll have this conversation documented. And on your next, I mean, so when you come to Sofia with another film, we could use some fragments of it, like flashbacks.
Okay, I'm filming this August, so I'll have movie next year. So maybe next or year after, we could see in Sofia.
2023.
That's right.
Pjer Zalica. Okay, I need just a kind of any message from you to the Bulgarian audience.
Okay. Dear people in Sofia, Bulgaria, I'm really sorry I'm not there. I know that the actors are really sorry that they are not there, but we are really happy that you would see our film. We made it with a big joy, and we really love it, and we hope that you will love it at least as we are. Thank you very much for watching the movie.
Thank you very much.